up. We're going to end on a positive note here. And it is the Walt Disney Studios, or maybe it's the whole company. I don't know. It's some type of 100th anniversary for Disney this year. And there's been very emotional commercials, nice nostalgic little ads that pop up and bring like a tear to your eye because you're seeing things from your childhood and you're just feeling warm and fuzzy with them there. And they celebrated their 100th anniversary with the new movie Wish, which was an animated movie. It was a pretty cool design for their animation, kind of fitting the 2D with the new CGI.
Yeah, the style threw me off because I didn't know that was going to happen. So when I took the girls to go see that and I saw that opening and I started watching the little first couple minutes, I got confused. And then, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. But overall, I think we both had the same reaction to the movie. Mid? It was about mid.
Oh, definition of mid.
Yeah. Which isn't what you want for the 100th anniversary, but it had like so much. It was packed with references and nostalgia, and almost like it did the thing that I don't want it to be a thing. It's cool if it's just references, but you don't need a Disney verse. You don't need a whole cinematic universe of these movies.
But hey, we already know Bob Iger likes losing money, so he's gonna keep pumping this shit out.
Hey, fuck Bob Iger. We haven't said that today. We haven't said that in a while. Fuck Bob Iger. There we go. What do we think of when we think Bob Iger? There we go.
Mm-hmm.
But a way to end positively is thinking back on these 100 years, and we're not going to think back through the full 100 years because that gets insane. And we're not even going to think of the full roster of movies here. No, we're going to look to the 2000s to present on the top 5 Disney animated movies from the year 2000, theatrically released. It's a very specific list, but you have to get that way with Disney. We'll dive deeper in with like Travis in a little, couple weeks or something. But for now, we're gonna
never heard a sentence that I've agreed more with. Diving deep into Travis. That's what he sounds like watching his second movie of the day at the movie theaters.
Hey, let's go into the top 5 Disney animated movies from the year 2000 to present.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's top 5.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
That's right. This is the 323's top 5 and the top 5 Disney animated movies from the year 2000 to the present. And Scott, we're just going to trade these back and forth. I don't know if you have any OLIs going into this, but I mean there are plenty of OLIs that you can get into and things that you can have arguments for. I've got about 4. I don't know about you.
I started doing my list and I got my top 5, and then I started doing my OLIs, and it built up to like 10 OLIs, so I just deleted them.
Okay, that's fair. Just
there's too many. There's really too many. In my opinion, the 90s to the late 2000s is kind of like the golden era of Disney movies, and there's so many bangers.
Oh yeah,
you can't. It's hard to narrow down to 5.
So I had 4 OLIs going on here, and I'll just see how you agree to them really quickly. First, I had Cars was an OLI for me. Cars
2 or Cars 3?
The first one, just Cars.
Ooh,
just the first one. I never saw Cars 2, but I heard it was trash, and that made me never see Cars 3 because I didn't trust
Planes.
I did not see Planes. I stayed away from Planes. I think there was another one that had like fire trucks and ambulances. I have a lot of questions about the Cars 2. How did they get that way? How did they become this? This obviously was a world before.
Yeah, I mean, me and you can take this offline, but there's a whole like Disney Pixar multiverse rabbit hole you can fall down where all the movies are interconnected with each other in different time frames of the humanity and the universe. So that's a rabbit hole for you to fall down on your own.
Family. And my other OLI, I had the movie Soul. It was a little more recent. Soul was an OLI for me.
I had to watch it a second time to really appreciate for what it's worth, but that is a movie that I think is underappreciated.
I had to watch it 2 times too. Maybe that's why it is underappreciated. I think it hits really deep, and it goes into a lot of deep stuff. I think it was just a beautiful movie.
Well, it's the same thing because that's the same year that they released Onward, which was a fantasy world style of 2 brothers trying to talk to their dead father again after years, and that's another movie I kind of had to watch a second time to really appreciate.
That's one I haven't seen because I think Onward came out at a bad time for me. So
Yeah.
it was a little too raw for me at the
Yeah.
time, but maybe I will
Yeah.
check it out. Another OLI, Turning Red. That's a more recent one, and that's one that I think is a little underappreciated.
It's entertaining. The girls love it.
Yeah.
And I find myself more times than them if we're listening to the Disney music station on Spotify, and one of the what's the name of their boy band, Four Town or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
Four Town. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of their songs will come on. I can catch myself jamming to it. So I'll give them a thumbs up.
It's a bop. As part of this double feature that we saw Trolls 3 that came along with
Ooh.
Wish. The movie had some bangers in it. Had some good like old boy band
I didn't see
bangers.
that one yet.
Oh,
I haven't seen it.
It's a hit. It's a hit. Final LI for me, Princess and the Frog. Did not make my cut, but it's one that it took me a long time to see, and I actually really enjoyed it. I like the ode to the traditional animation that it does.
My youngest will have words for you because that is her favorite Disney princess of all time.
Oh,
so you
good
just
for
heard
her.
her. And to answer your question, the Fire and Rescue for Planes, it's actually Planes' sequel. It's called Planes Fire and Rescue.
Good for them. They got a sequel. Good for them.
Within a year, Planes came out August of 2013, and Planes Fire and Rescue came out July of 2014.
Well, hey, let's go into number 5. Let's get into the top 5 list. What do you have at number 5?
Number 5, I have Toy Story 3 because I can't put in Toy Story 1 or 2.
Is that a bad thing for Toy Story 3? Is that a bad review of it?
No, I would put in Toy Story 2, but with that coming out right before the break of the new millennium. But Toy Story 3 was still serviceable. I wish they would have ended it there. I liked how they kind of wrapped it all up with a nice little bow at the end.
Yeah.
But now they're just stretching because I think there's rumors of a 5th Toy Story movie coming out at some point in time.
Tim
Just
Allen
let it
himself
die.
said it. Yeah, Tim Allen himself said he's been contacted for a 5th one, and I don't know. The fourth one I think gets a bad rep just because it comes after number 3. Honestly, if 4 had come before 3, I think it would have been viewed as one of the greats in that franchise.
Well, and I also feel like Toy Story 3 has one of the most botched endings of all time. I feel like it should have ended when the toys were going through the garbage incinerator with Lotso the bear, the main the antagonist of the movie, and just had it hard cut into black screen.
That would have been a choice. Number 5 for me. I'm an orc dork. I was an orchestra kid through middle school and high school. Big music nerd, and I just love the magic of this movie. And it was one that we got to watch on like substitute teacher days in orchestra, and that was Fantasia 2000.
Ooh.
I loved Fantasia 2000. I loved a lot of the song choices for that. Yeah, it's a simple movie, simple, easy one.
I like it.
Number 4, Scott.
We're gonna go across the big old pond and go to France, specifically Paris, with Ratatouille at number 4. I don't think I've ever met somebody who doesn't like Ratatouille.
I did like Ratatouille, but it's one I haven't seen since it came out. I haven't watched it since, so I don't. Maybe it doesn't stick to me as well.
Could you consider jockeys who do horse riding as reverse Ratatouilles, since they're on top of an animal controlling the animal and not a mouse on top of a human?
So pretty much the Kentucky Derby is just like a bunch of Ratatouilles.
It's just a bunch of reverse Ratatouilles.
We should have a Ratatouille race of where rats are riding humans into races.
I don't see.
And if
all
break,
gold.
And if they break a leg, you just shoot them. Like,
oh god, I don't see. Well, we'll put that behind the paywall.
We'll get all our richest people. This could be an Elon Musk kind of funded thing, like a private island where nobody will ever see it.
I'll email him.
Okay.
International waters.
Number 4 for me, something that you need to get over waters. You get a big old house with a bunch of balloons coming from it. No, it's not planes. It's the movie Up.
Wow. I like it. Up isn't on my top 5, but I have a lot of respect for Up.
I think it's one of the greatest and saddest openings to a movie of all time, in the terms of going through the life of this relationship of the main character and his deceased wife. And ultimately, I think it also had just like the most beautiful ending to a Pixar movie. I just loved how it ended. with that house on there, the music serenading into it and just fading out, and you're just looking at this dream finally being achieved. And I think it was their first Best Picture nominated movie for one of these. It was either that or Wall-E, but one of those two got a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars.
Well, and how the rumors have circulated over time that the guy actually died in his house, and Russell was like his guardian angel, and he was going to heaven.
There's a lot of dark undertones to these Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if there's a dark undertone to your number 3. What's your number 3?
It's a movie that I didn't get onto until like a lot later. It came out in 2007. I don't think I watched it for the first time until at least 2012, 2013, and that's Meet the Robinsons.
Oh, wow.
It's a great little cute science fiction comedy film about a family, and the main kid finds out. I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts, but yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. That's one that I find myself rewatching even to this day.
Well, good job. Okay, I like that one. I haven't seen that one in a long time, but I remembered enjoying it a lot. Meet the Robinsons. All right. Number 3 for me. It's got one of my favorite soundtracks. It spawned a great television show that I watched for years, trying to collect all these aliens that were coming from it, and that was Lilo and Stitch. Little Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
Yep.
Yeah. I love Lilo and Stitch. It was such a cute movie. I loved the relationship between Lilo and her older sister and her platonic best friend and everything on there. Yeah, Stitch was just awesome. Stitch was awesome. And I remember the marketing leading up into it was like showing like clips from like classic Disney movies and like Stitch just jumping in and just like irritating or destroying the shit out of all these classic Disney animated movies.
Yep. Well, and like I don't know the last time that you watched the movie, but I actually rewatched that a couple months ago with the girls, and they watched that for the first time, and something caught my eye, and I had to go back and double check. But they actually did a re-edit in the movie.
Really?
Like an animation re-edit. Yeah. So you know the scene when Lilo locks her sister out of the house, and then she like hides in the washing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it to where she's like in a cabinet or something. So it shows she doesn't actually go into a washing machine. I guess so that way it doesn't give kids the idea to go hide in their washing machine. I think it's like she hides behind like a pizza box or something, like in a cabinet.
I wonder when they made the edit. I wonder when they did the re-edit.
Probably the same time that Disney Plus put in the warnings that Disney does not agree with the messaging in the movies.
Yeah.
Because they were made in different times. Peter Pan.
Song of the South.
Hey, easy. Dumbo even comes up with
Dumbo's
it too.
bad. Dumbo's bad. Those crows are rough.
Why?
Number 2, Scott. Dumbo.
Number. Ever seen a house fly? Number 2. I feel if you know, you know. And this movie I still watch on a routine basis. Emperor's New Groove.
Hey, that's my number 2.
Let's go. Emperor's New Groove is amazing. It still holds up. It's still hilarious. It's still a great time. It spans all generations. My kids love it. It's amazing.
That's fantastic. I'm 100% with you. Just the opening of that movie is so awesome. He's basically like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool before that came out. Who was Cusco? It was David Spade.
David Spade.
Yeah.
David Spade is just like the pre-evolution of Ryan Reynolds.
Pretty much. Basically.
They're kind of in the same thread. They're kind of have the same kind of typecast.
Yeah. See, I can't argue with you. It's both of our number 2s. That's awesome. Well, you know what?
Wow.
I know our number 1s are different, so I'm going to take number 1 first, and I'll let you close it out because you already did my number 1. Everything.
Oh.
So I'm curious to what the number 1 is because you were hyping it up saying it has to be number 1 for everybody. So my number 1 is actually Toy Story 3.
Wow.
And you know why that? I think Toy Story 3 hit me because it came out the same year that I graduated high school. And so it came out right after graduation. So a bunch of us went to see it. And that ending of Andy leaving and saying goodbye to the toys, that hit like
it just hit you.
Oh, that hit like a bitch.
It just hit you.
That hit hard. So
I am looking at the release date. Yeah, that is like a week or 2 after you would have graduated.
Yeah. So that movie, that movie was an emotional roller coaster for us. And it should have ended the franchise. That would have been the best way to do it. So
they never should have made 4.
No, Toy Story 3. That's my favorite of the Toy Story movies too, honestly. But I also haven't seen Toy Story 2 in a long ass time. I need to rewatch that. Good Toy Story
Wow.
rewatch. Maybe we should do that for the show. We'll rewatch Toy Stories. Your number 1, Scott. Close us out.
My number 1 Disney film of all time is another little science fiction action adventure film. It came out in the early 2000s. It is Treasure Planet.
Wow. Deep cut.
That is, like I said, if those who know, of course, it's a really nice retelling of Treasure Island, Robert Louis Stevenson's novel. But it's a really great movie. It's an animation style that I feel Disney should have never gone away from, with that and Atlantis, and you still kind of see similar animation styles in An Emperor's New Groove, and then like El Dorado. That's another really deep cut movie that's really good. Has my favorite female character of all time, but that's a conversation we'll have for another day.
That's a good top 5 to do. That's we discussed The Road to El Dorado. Emily and I both thought that was a Disney movie until we looked it up. That's a DreamWorks movie.
Is it really?
Yeah, Road to El Dorado was a DreamWorks movie. Atlantis was a Disney movie.
Huh.
But they felt kind of like of the same vein. That was a golden age for animated movies.
Right. No, because it's not a Don Bluth movie, right? No,
I don't think so.
No, Don Bluth is. I that's what I want to do, is a top 5 Don Bluth movies.
Set that up. We're gonna do that against Travis too. I'm writing it down.
Ooh.
Top 5 Bluths. Oh, well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the top 5 Disney movies of the 2000s.